Right. So I've been licensed for 5 years, and I started at a different brokerage, and I came to KW about 3 years ago.
All right. And I.
I have been licensed for almost 6 years, and I have been with KW the whole way and stay with KW the whole way.
Yes.
Awesome. I got licensed 19 years ago, and I joined Keller Williams in 2012. Awesome.
Cool. So, tell us about your overall impressions at Family Reunion.
I love family reunions, so I've been there twice, and it's just a great experience. I think it can be a little overwhelming because you want to attend all the classes. But I think one thing that I learned from my coach is she's like, you want to attend all the classes, but go to the ones that are going to benefit you the most. And then when you get the nugget, go to the next class and then go to the next class, which I really implemented that while I was there. And I didn't feel as overwhelmed. I felt like, oh, I hit everything that I wanted to because I would just get the nugget and then I would leave, you know?
This was my first family reunion. It was like absolutely amazing. Recommend you go to Senior Frogs.
Place right there.
No, it's really really cool. If anyone hasn't been to these big KW events, I highly suggest it. It's cool just to see like-minded agents that want to do more, and it's super amazing just to like be right next to someone that's selling 400 homes a year. Listen to their advice. You just get to see so many people. It's just really impressive, and it's really part of our culture. And I think that's why we are in KW. I mean, it's super cool. You have so many learning opportunities, so many opportunities to network with other agents, just see their perspectives on everything. So be big.
My biggest aha this year is really that we're back in people business, connections, reconnecting with people, how important referrals are, how important it is to have a schedule. You get easily overwhelmed with all the phenomenal classes. And if you think you can just wing it in the morning, you can't. There are phenomenal classes. Some of them are at the same time, and then you really need to figure out, where do you want to go? What do you want to get out of the class that you want to attend, and really structure your day, or you get lost.
Speaking of breakouts, what was one of the breakouts that you attended that really stood out to you?
The one that I think that was the most impactful for me was the one about selling 400, or no, the objections to opportunities. They had 3 panelists there. It was insanely packed. I mean, it was Mariah. Yeah, we sat on the floor. We were trying to find a spot. We ended up sitting on the floor, and the fire marshal came in, and he's like, "You guys are gonna have to get out," or so we just ended up all bunching together. But all of the agents had so much to say. It's impressive how many different systems they have in play, and just different takes. For example, one of the agents says before he goes to any listing appointment or anything like that, he has someone else call and do the pre-listing questions. And he says that's important because they're more likely to be more upfront and honest with someone else rather than the agent themselves. And it's a ton of questions. So that way he goes in, he's not asking any of those questions. He already knows what to expect when he gets to the listing. And it really helps him out. Think of, we
Like
shouldn't be...
pre-op.
Yeah, exactly. He brings that up. It's like a pre-op, right? Doctor's going to ask you a bunch of questions. It's your fiduciary to be able to do those things, right?
Or that I think where our concern is like, oh, well, we don't want to have an assistant call our seller. And how he put it is like when you're going into surgery, the doctor isn't calling you and asking all those basic questions. It's your pre-op appointment and it's his medical assistant. It's essentially the same thing. And another thing, sorry, I attended that class too, and what I took from that was the pre-op, and then also the objection. It's not an objection, it's just a question. I think we get really concerned when we think of the word objection, and it's just a question, and to be able to clarify before you educate them. So making sure that you understand what they're trying to say and then educating them.
Right. And just to remain curious. Like the entire appointment, don't be judgmental as to why they're objecting to something. Try to empathize with them, where they're coming from. And exactly how she said, just try and help them out. Really, really important. Don't be quick to judge. And usually an objection is no. When they object to something, they're going to say no because is a yes, right? So what is that because? Try to get them from there.
What about you, Dash? What stood out for you in a breakout session? And who was it?
I attended a lot of social media classes. I noticed there were a lot of them on the schedules throughout. What really stood out is how do you bring value to the prospects when you market, when you go on social media. It's not just about being present on social media on a daily basis, regardless which venue you use. It's about what's the value that you are bringing that will grab people's attention. Kind of like, don't just use it for marketing purposes, you use it for prospecting people.
As a first-time attendee, Art, how do you feel family reunion is going to impact your business?
I think just the energy that it gave me, just being there, looking at other agents, seeing what other agents are doing, a fresh new sense of ideas. I got a little sick coming back, so I'm not like super pumped up right now, but I definitely felt like that. Anytime I go to any of these events, I get that sense of like more motivation and everything. I love that. Took a bunch of notes, so definitely looking to implement these things into my business this year.
How do you feel it's going to impact your business attending family reunions?
I would say like it's helpful to go. I think they plan it very purposefully. The fact that we have family reunion in February, and then we have Bold in April, and then we have Mega Camp in Austin, and in August. But like, there's no room for you to be on the real estate roller coaster, and I think implementing by going, you go and you get motivated, you come back and handle your business, and then you go to Austin, and then you're at Mega Camp, and then again, it's the same thing, you're motivated again, and then you have a good fall, because that's where most of us like start to fall off, is because it's the holidays, and I feel like it's just nice to attend. And I think a lot of people, we focus on like the cost of it. And at the end of the day, when you are learning all this stuff, it ends up paying for itself because you come back and you implement the things that were taught to you, and it pays for itself,
My biggest takeaway is, I think Trisha said it perfectly yesterday. It's a reset. Sometimes we feel like we're a hamster in a wheel, and we just keep hamstering on a daily basis. And going to those events will take us out of our cage and makes us appreciate real estate more. There's always something to learn or nuggets, and I got a really good one yesterday out of Allison. It's highly motivating, I think, and it's kind of like a refresher. Like you network with like-minded people, and you share ideas, and you see that their struggle is as real as yours, or their market is as crazy as yours. So we're all in the same, and we're all lifting each other up and motivating each other. And for me, it's always, it's a reset. I'll come back highly motivated.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like being around like-minded people, and it's just the energy that you get from attending family reunion that definitely feeds you throughout the year.
And on that same note, the reason why I attend both events every year, Mega Camp and Family Reunion, like Gary Keller is doing the digging. He's doing the homework for you by providing all the statistics on where the market is, how the economy is doing, what buyers and sellers are looking for. He pretty much hand delivers you everything that you need to drive in any market, regardless, to be educated, and to literally know where you need to spend your marketing dollars. So,
For pointers or what?
pointers for what
Or like
for,
the summary of what he said.
a summary. One of the slides is talking about interest rates. Where like for the last, what is it, 50 years. So they're tracking the mortgage rates, and it pretty much shows you in the 80s it's close to 20%. And then you have that 3-year blurb that's called COVID, where it's so ridiculous low that everybody remembers that. But nobody remembers that everything in between the ridiculous low and the 18% has always been an average of about 6.5. So when you have objections, right, like, oh, I'm waiting for the interest rate to go down, you have that slide. You can literally, let's say, win this argument or educate that buyer or that seller who is concerned about that just by saying, look, this is really what is happening in this industry for the last 50 years. What are you waiting for? And I think that's why this year a lot of buyers are getting back off the fence and are extremely motivated because they're like, okay, I guess the interest rate is not really going anywhere. So let's just get going before it goes back up. Put statistics out, like what buyers and sellers are looking for when they hire an agent, how many agents they're interviewing, how they find their property, how they find their agents. And so Gary provides those slides. And if you just look at the top 3 on how people find their agent, it's literally 70% of what you need to be doing. Like it's a referral from an agent, it's a referral from somebody they know, or they have done business with you in the past. And then there's another slide that says 80% of people that used you in the past say they would use you again, but yet only 12% are only come back to you. So then you are like, okay, wait. So if the majority says they're going to use me, but then I see this home listed with somebody else, where do I fail? So that's where you pitch in your marketing and be like, okay, if I just stay in touch with my people somewhat, I should capture more than what I'm capturing, like the beebacks.
And piggybacking off of what Trisha was saying yesterday is one thing that it also confirms the things that she's already implementing in her business. So she also feels like, oh, okay, I'm doing the right things, but also attending and her seeing it's like all these things are additional things that she could just add to her business, but also just having that feeling like, okay, I'm doing the right things, I think sometimes we don't go because, oh, we're already successful in our business, but there's always so much more that you can learn by going to family reunion and being around other people that are doing so much better,
Now, the next question. Did you have any memorable networking experiences or connections made at the convention at family reunion? I know some people's goal is to go out and talk to as many people as possible, right? That was Sarah's goal, to network and get to meet bigger names in KW to be able to bring them back to the market center. Did you guys have any experiences with meeting other people or getting to know someone that you're like, I need to have a conversation with you and learn from you?
I was handing out a lot of, so thank you to Tabitha. I made some little
like a
postcard with, yeah, they were pretty big. I should have handed out a lot more. I ended up handing out about 100 of them, just talking to different agents. One of the agents that I briefly talked to was Elio Alanis. If you guys don't know who he is, he was Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. And he's a monster. He's only been in the business for 4 years, I think. I thought that was really, really cool. He looked at the postcard and he's like, oh, that's sharp, man, and good to meet you and everything.
And he also had on his thing, it has a QR code, and so it's a video of him just saying, hey guys, I'm R, and if you ever need anything in Las Cruces.
So you had that?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, it was really, really neat. I try to have a conversation with people, but it was tough because you just get caught up in the conversation and then try to make sure you get as many of these cards out and then also have time to party it up.
Like a lot of people, once they realize how many military communities I'm serving. I gave out a bunch of business cards. I got referrals already. Like, what? You're serving this space? Oh my God. What also really helped was those cute shirts that we got. Kind of famous in El Paso, kind of famous in Las Cruces.
That's cute.
So every day I wore them. Somebody was like, I needed to connect with you. And I'm like, that works. It was good talking to and reconnecting to people. I thought Allison got a really good nugget that she shared yesterday. And knowing Allison for that long, I thought it was pretty hilarious. So she had no filter during family reunion in hopping into somebody else's Uber and say, hey, we're all going to the same place, And so the one car that she actually hopped into, she started asking questions like, okay, what do you do? What are you struggling with? Turns out their similarity was command and attacks. And one of the people in the car was responsible for their team's command and tagging everybody. And so they bounced off each other, little mastermind. And Allison said that she started implementing for her buyers that she is closing an additional tag about what their interest rate was when they closed, so that she can does a mail out a touch when she sees that there is a drop in interest rate. Just another touching point. I thought it was so amazing.
And I do have access to those tags. She gave the lady gave Allison a list of the tags, so I can share it with everyone.
Why don't you set them out?
It's a tag you put in their contact info?
Yeah, to put on their contact card. That way you can start filtering your database a little bit more accurately. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next question. How do you plan to leverage the momentum and inspiration gained from family reunion?
So for me, when I attended, I felt like I had two different hats on. And one was like trying to gain knowledge for the people that are in the PC program and for the new agents, and to be able to bring stuff back so that they can use for their listing appointments or for their buyers. And then I also had the hat on for coaching. And one of the things that I really love when I attended one of the productivity coaching classes is they talk about doing it as a whole. And so he talks about having events as a brokerage. And so one of the examples was doing an event where as a whole we rent out a movie theater, and each of us just invite our sphere, right? But I felt like we do that as team leaders on a separate, in a separate way. But I think doing it as a whole brokerage and the things and making it a big thing, I think would be super fun.
So that's actually something the AOC is working on.
Okay.
It's putting together renting out a theater and having everyone go and watch a movie.
Yeah, but not because it's more for us agents, right? So these events are geared so that we can also, in order for you to grow your business. So it's not for us. It's
client.
Yes. And doing it, because how cool if Keller Williams has an event every year or every quarter, and they rent out the entire movie theater and they just invite their clients to it.
And if you think about it, it's not that expensive. I did one in October, and that movie theater room had 90 seats, and they charged right around $900 for that whole thing.
Yeah.
And you get discounted popcorn and soda. So if a bunch of agents come together and split that, and maybe some vendors would like to have their wartime as well. So it's going to be a great turnout. You'll see.
Yeah, and not even, the movie theater was an example that he said, but even in our back parking lot, just doing some type of, I want to say farmer's market.
Done all the buns.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They
But,
need to live somewhere too.
They could go too.
yeah. But I think just as a whole, as a brokerage, I think right now we're just in this phase where we're trying to grow our market centers and to be more connected, because we have lost a lot of agents this year, and a lot of their things are they don't feel connected within the market center, and that's one of our things here at KW is our culture, and I think if we were to have events as a brokerage and we were all to the team leaders, even if you're not a team leader and you want to be involved, pitch in, and you're able to call your sphere and like, hey, we have this going on as a brokerage. And knowing here, like, we're not here, the people that are coming, we're not here to help. Yes, exactly. So I thought that was a really big thing that I love to bring our culture back here. Yeah, for Las Cruces and El Paso.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the East Side office does do client events, and they all get together and they pitch in and they host like Halloween stuff, Christmas stuff,
Pictures with Santa.
Yeah, pictures with Santa. They don't charge anyone, and there's no branding. It's just a Keller Williams thing. You invite your clients, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right. It's for building the picture around.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Are there any areas of your business that you feel particularly inspired to focus on or improve upon attending family reunion?
Yes. So I took there was the first breakout session that I went to was a profit class. I forget what it's called. Leverage your P&L to increase your profit. The biggest takeaway from that class, I think, is how unorganized I am with my P&L, and how I think a lot of us as agents really need to really focus on our numbers. Like, do we really know our numbers? Are we really dedicating, 9% to lead generation, which is one of the little things that they said is you need to be spending at least 9% of your income on lead generation. 9%. And a lot of us don't, and they have, I don't remember what statistics they brought out with that, but they'd see an increase if you're at the 9%. That's like your sweet spot. But they broke down all these numbers, and they have everything categorized like so professionally. And
So you're gonna teach us a class?
I can definitely try, but I'm not sure how good I am at that. But I'm definitely going to start working on that. That's one of my biggest things, is just how much am I spending per listing? Where can I reduce my costs and it not have any effect on my marketing capability or anything like that? Where should I put more money into? How am I coming up with these numbers? Those sorts of things. The other thing is systems. I mean, you're talking to these big time agents, and they're creating so much volume, and they're so much more organized than I am, and I need a lot of help with organization. But those are the biggest things that I'm really, really going to focus on this year.
How about you, Dan?
It's actually two things. One is, and it really starts with mindset. That's why I like those events. Kind of like adjust your mindset. To dig more into my data bank, not my database, because that's where the money is. To do more personal touches. We're no longer in a transactional relationship with our clients. COVID is over when it comes to that. We're back on rebuilding relationships that got lost in those years. So doing more personal touches, doing more call buys, doing more client events, and be more out there on social media. Those are my biggest takeaways. The way the industry is leading. Yes, there's a lot of technology. Yes, there's a lot of systems. Yes, the AI is taking over, but it cannot take away from the human touch. And so that's where I'm going to focus this year. That was my biggest listening to those $20 million teams. How do you still maintain that one-on-one?
And what about you, Mariah? I know you're talking from a PC perspective, right? But what do you feel that a newer agent can implement into their business from the ahas you got at family reunion?
I think one of the things that was kind of like the main subject is going back to your basics. it talks about like we're trying so hard to get away from the basics and we're trying to be as creative as possible. We're trying to do all the things on social media. And at the end of the day, every top producer has to end up coming back to the basics. And I think that is one of the things is where a lot of agents come in and they want to do all the cool stuff because they're following, right? They're following all the top producers and they want to get there. And of course, you only see what's on social media. But I think at the end of the day, it's coming back to the basics.
Yeah. It's funny, huh? How it always comes back to the basics, no matter how fancy this world gets.
Yeah. And one of the things, so I got to attend the CEO summit, and I wrote down some of the things. So coming back to like your systems and how you're saying like you're just so organized, one of the things that I took was like, if you're still grinding, you haven't done something right in your systems, in your habits, in your consistency, your discipline. And I really it makes sense because we're such in a world where it's like, let's hustle, 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 and it's like, guys, chill. Like, if you just did your systems right, you would get to enjoy your life so much better. Why are we in such a fast living pace,
Yeah. Yeah, it essentially is creating the systems to have the systems work for you, rather than you spending all the time running around and picking stuff up and organizing it and figuring it out. Build the systems now, build the habits, and off of building the good habits, you create a thriving business.
Yeah. And then it talked about like knowing your value, and when you know your value, you get paid more, because you have the confidence of like, I have my stuff together, that I know what I bring and I know what my value is, and they automatically feel that confidence. They're willing to pay you the whatever amount, right?
Going back to the systems, did they give like any formula? What you just said really just felt that. But I was just telling Quaid earlier, I'm like, I know there's certain things that I should be implementing, and I know there's certain systems that I need to create to give me more time. Mm-hmm. But in a day's passion, I sometimes find a hard time finding the time to do the system that will free up time.
Yeah. I can't remember if they did. I mean, they talked about the MREA, there's already a book in place for you to start creating. And I, unfortunately, have not read the MREA book. But they did talk about, the book is already there. It talks about the systems and that kind of stuff. But I think that would be a good opportunity of like us doing a workshop together. And like, what do we need? What would be a good system and how could we start it,
Also, if you want to think into KW University, they have broken down how to take full advantage of command in tiny little video clips, depending on what it is you're looking for, whatever the subject is. You have like 3-4 little clips that are no more than 5 minutes each. And I started it too because I feel just like you, I need more systems in place, like something that keeps me like more focused, right? Better. And so when I realized that those are tiny little videos, I can knock out, whatever it is that I need, those 2, 3, 4 videos and spend a total of 20 minutes. That's all it takes.
And you said that's on correct.
Yeah. And Jason Abrams is actually the one talking about, those little videos. Like he's the one teacher.
It's on Connect.
Connect.
Through Connect.
Yeah. Yes. We're making that.
Another thing, sorry.
No, go ahead.
That they said was to don't let your strive for success be in front of your purpose. And I feel like that's where we also get construed, is where we're so worried about our success and, coming back and looking at like, what is your purpose? What is your purpose in life? And because you end up 20 years from now and you're successful, you did all the things, but did you actually fulfill the purpose of your life? And I think that really, for whatever reason, it just,
it hits different, right?
Yeah, it does.
So figuring out your big why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I think sometimes we think like, oh, I don't have this big old why, this big old purpose. But I think finding out the one thing that like what do you want to be as a human being, what type of person do you want to be, how do you want to be, or who do you want, what is that question that you asked, remember that class that we had, and we talked about how do you want to be remembered when you die, and I think when you think that question had us all crying because we don't ever take a second to look at who we are and what we're doing, and the things that we are doing, like are they giving you a purpose, is that how you do want to be remembered? You get one life and you want to make sure that you're being the best version of yourself. So that was one thing. Yeah, that's right. Another thing, it just said no one succeeds alone and no one fails alone either, which I thought that was a really good one because we're so, the fact that if I fail, it didn't happen with you just alone.
Correct. You're not the first one to go through that phase.
Yes, exactly. And then the other one was you have to plan for your weaknesses. And I really love that one because we could be like, this one just happens to, I think of food, and I think of like you plan, we're over here, we're on a diet, we're trying to eat good, and then we don't plan for it. And then that's when we go eat something bad, and so that's with anything in general. And so, but if I planned for it, if I would have done what I was supposed to do that Sunday, I wouldn't have had a weak moment, So it's the same thing when you're in your business, and planning out your day, your lead generation, and not your lead generating, and you're not just like, oh, I'm going to do real estate related stuff. No, what is your plan? What are you going to do? Can we talk about Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
Because we all attended them. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
I just
got it.
I guess the biggest thing with Tony was, for me, was energy. Having that, yeah.
Watched his videos this morning. I always think, so I was like doing the power posing this morning.
Yeah. No, I mean, he made us do a ton of things. He made us do some very awkward things. Go up to someone and pretend like you could care less about the conversation that you're having. Or actually, even worse than that, it was go up to someone and pretend like having a conversation with them is a waste of your time.
So you did that exercise right there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Amongst everybody.
What was the purpose of that?
Just to get a feeling of how you feel after that conversation. How does it make you feel afterwards? And then progressively it got a little bit better. So by the end, you're like,
You're hugging
everyone.
Yeah, so we were all hugging random people, and we had to over exaggerate it. So like, he's like someone that you haven't seen in years, and you love them, and you just all of a sudden see them, and so we all ran to random people. Yeah, we were all playing.
So the purpose was to overwrite different parts in your brain.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is your mind tells your body what to do, how to react, and that's an instant mood shifter. You instantly transfer the way you're acting with and towards people, and it actually changes your overall behavior.
And that was the fundamental of
Yeah.
all the things, right? Like you can have goals, but if you're not in the right energy, you're not going to.
Yes. It's kind of like that snap out of it. If you don't tell that specific portion of your brain to snap out of it, that portion will drive your day.
Yeah.
So the minute you realize something is off or you need to achieve something, you need to help that your mind to step out of it by just overriding certain emotions.
Yeah, by moving.
By
so
moving, yes.
It was emotion is created by motion. So when, I don't know if he talked about this or if I'm just thinking of it, but he just talked about like when you're arguing with someone when you're in a position that isn't necessarily great and you just go move somewhere, like go for a walk. There's a reason that people are like, give me a second, let me go take myself out of this situation.
You're talking about Gorbachev? You're talking about Gorbachev? Gorbachev?
What?
Where he
Where Bush
on the
takes
plane.
Gorbachev on.
Oh, yes.
With the Cold War.
Yeah, so Tony Robinson had the opportunity to have a one-on-one with Gorbachev. He had been asked by our president back then to
Gorbachev. I should know this. Sorry. I don't think that it's.
the Russian president that helped end the Cold War with Senior Bush, the guy that had that red mark on his forehead.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were all supposed to go to a big summit, I guess, in New York, if I remember that story correctly. And so Tony Robinson had a private jet and was asked to take Gorbachev on.
Oh. Wow.
And he was like, I got a few hours with this guy. I want to know how to call. What was the moment that changed the course of history? What was the moment where he decided, I'm going to end this Cold War? And so it took him a little persuasion with his wife, Gorbachev's wife, for Gorbachev to pitch into that conversation. And then he also had a talk with Senior Bush back then. What was his moment that changed the course of history? And they kind of both said the same thing in different words. They snapped out of that situation by Bush telling Gorbachev when they were like headbanging, let's go for a walk. Just go for a walk. And literally Gorbachev was like WTF, like, what do you mean go for a walk? We're like here, the world is in our hands. We can either create World War III or we're figuring this out. He said, let's just go for a walk.
That's what he was when he said he was heated, right? And George Bush got up and he's like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Let's go for a walk.
Let's go for a walk.
So they went together for a walk.
They went together for a walk. And then Bush approached Gorbachev and said, okay, let's reset, let's restart again. This is me.
Keller.
Interesting. So again, it was literally, they were in there and one decided, and that's why I used it on purpose. I literally have it on my computer at home. To just snap out of it, you realize you're in a situation and that is not getting you anywhere. So you need to find a way to overwrite how you're thinking and what your emotions are. And movement is what Tony Robinson says is the one that changes that course.
Motion creates emotion. What kind of prompt do you put on your computer? What does it say?
That's supposed to snap out of it.
How?
And then he said something about like your state controls your performance, and I think that really like you have to think about what state are you in, are you in a happy stage of your life? Are you, struggling? And based on that, you could easily see how you're performing in your life,
And you know what's so funny? Mel Robinson said the same thing. Reset your thoughts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reset.
She was 5-second real person.
Yes.
She is. She actually saved someone's life with the book from suicide. Yeah.
And then the other thing was like he talked about what are you going to focus on your life, and we don't experience life, we experience what we focus on. And he talks about focus equals feelings. We are emotional people, without realizing, and I think we let our emotions drive us, when it's just what are you going to focus on, And I feel like we focus on unnecessary I was watching or listening to Kevin Hart and Jay Shetty this morning, and it's crazy to hear the things that Kevin is talking about. And of course, because he had a life-altering experience when I guess he almost died, he just talks about like we get so focused on when it's not necessarily about us, it's about us together and like we as in our generation, and like what we're so caught up in being selfish and what things can benefit me, and how do you, and again he was talking about like what is your purpose in life? And he's even talking about it, and just saying like it's not about us, as adults, when you have kids, and it's not about us and me. It's about, your purpose in life and how can you make life better, for the next generation and all that kind of stuff. But it just really highly recommend watching.
And I guess the last question from me is, what would you say to someone that is considering attending family reunion?
Just do it.
Definitely.
It's worth it. Still, you don't know what you're missing out unless you're going. Or as Allison says, oh my God, why did I not go earlier? It was the first year that she went.
Real.
Yes. Yeah, you would think she would do this over and over again. It was her first year, and it was literally like, OMG, what have I missed out? My whole real estate life. It's worth the money.
And one thing I actually really admired about what Allison did, she was very intentional with family reunion. Before they were making reservations for 6 people at restaurants every single night. At least, I don't know if she followed what they did, right? They went with different people to just have lunch with different, creating different referral opportunities and that thing, rather than spending the time us together. We want to be out there, meeting new people, making these referral partners.
I like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was super cool because I know we're texting her, hey, are you gonna come out with us? And she's all business, and that's very admirable. Anyone thinking about going, exactly. I mean, just sign up for it. It was my first one. I'm definitely gonna sign up for the next one. It's insane. I can't even describe the feeling right now to be with all of these agents in a huge convention center. Everyone's wanting to learn. Everyone's wanting more. You get to meet so many different people that are doing magnitudes better than you, and you want to be that person, and you want to be as close to that person as possible, or even surpass that person. Everyone's willing to help out. Everyone's willing to meet you. Very, very cool environment. A lot of takeaways from the breakout sessions from Gary Keller, the speakers. I mean, it's very, very impressive. If you've gone to Mega Camp, it's even better than Mega Camp, bigger and better. But I will say, be very, very purposeful when you go. Go out there, have your fun. Of course, it's very hard not to do that in Vegas, but go out there and learn and be there on time. Go to those classes because it is expensive, but it's totally worth it. It's just very, very impressive to be surrounded by all of these successful people.
And you never know where business is coming from. Like this year, there were 20,000 Keller Williams agents from all over the world. I had 3 years ago, I had a Keller Williams agent from London, Great Britain, call me, who had a friend in Saudi Arabia who was moving to Paso. That connection, as a worldwide connection, would have never happened if I would have not gone to one of those conventions. So don't limit yourself. The sky is not even a limit on this one. There's like no that you can grow to the extent that you can't even imagine today.
Yeah. And I think seeing it as not as an expense, but as an investment for yourself. I think when you change your mindset, you go into it. And then the fact that even more so when you are more purposeful in attending, you're doing all the right things, At the end of the day, it ends up paying for itself.
Yep. And it's a tax write-off.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I think it's a different feeling too when you're in a different brokerage, because I had the opportunity to start off at a different brokerage and to come here and to see the KW culture. It's a real thing. It is a very different feeling when you're when you're with people that believe in the same thing as you, and the biggest one is God. For whatever reason, I trust you a little bit more because I know that you're a part of KW, and I know that your value is God. I think it really makes a difference, especially when we're in such a world where nobody wants to talk about God, or they like, oh, I don't want to touch on that. That's a sensitive area. And for all of us to be in a convention center, and we're very proud and believe in God.
Yes. We embrace each other. I think that's what's special about it. Everybody would just comes together. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions for our panelists?
It's just that simple, that 5-second rule.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the way it can impact the way you are thinking, your life, the way that you can guide in a positive and influence in a positive way other people in your business.
Me might hear some hello.
But it's just mind blowing. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it all starts with you.
Yeah, exactly. One of my things when I attended Mel Robbins was life does not change unless you work through the little moments. So you psych yourself out over making a phone call, over sending a text message, over doing either waking up in the morning, right? Hitting the snooze alarm, and working through that one little moment can set you up for a win throughout your day, right? So if you work through those little moments, you're setting yourself up for success. Do you have anything to add? You did attend family reunion.
No, they basically said it all. Everything they said was. I attended most of it, mostly to just network out there. I got to meet up with people that I met the first time when I went to Mega Camp, and got to talk to them, how they're doing, how they changed, what changed. So I got to do that. I got to have a few drinks and stuff like that with people that I met out there as well. So I got new opportunities in Tennessee, another one in Florida, things like that. So I think all that is very, very awesome and cool. Just that in general. And then from the Tony Robbins, I mean, just the three, he talks about like the stages. Remember the stages that you were saying, like summer, winter, all that stuff? The seasons. Those are pretty cool because he compared those to like stages in your life. I didn't really write it down as much as I should, but what he talks about is mostly like what season you are, and if you could, do good in winter, then you got to do good in the rest of the season. So you have to work more on doing good in winter and stuff like that. Then he kind of like, he kind of tied it down to like life, right? And he kind of did it to when you're born to your 20s. I think I have it. Let me see if I could.
Like the winter starts in like the 60s, the fall starts in like your mid 40s, and then of course the spring is retracted.
He's talking about patterns in life, and being able to recognize patterns is super important, because when you think of the seasons of the year, right? We now have 4 seasons, but in the beginning we didn't.
Yeah.
And it was chaotic because we didn't. It was summer, and then it was fall, and then it was winter, and there was havoc everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Until we identified them into 4 different seasons, we were able to be more predictable. Okay, in a couple of weeks it's going to be fall. We need to prepare this way. In a couple of months, it's going to be winter. We got to prepare this way. So he talks about pattern recognition, pattern utilization, and then pattern creation.
See, Art say more attention.
He just wrote down notes.
But just little things like that. The change of your energy with your clients also can be a big factor in it. And the 3 laws he said, what was it? Find your focus, learn what it means to you, and then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to implement it? So those were his 3 bullet points there. But mostly that's what I got out of it.
So you said you went to network. How do you plan on following up with those people you met?
Well, I've been following up. I actually just sent out a referral potential, seller to somebody that I met actually there. And I sent it out to, where was this place? Cheyenne. I met someone from Cheyenne, so I sent it out. So, I mean, apart from that, every time I meet new people, I end up trying to, at least once every month or something like that, try and reach out and talk to them. And then I use mega camp and family reunion as a way of meeting up with them and just, talking to them about how their business is going and kind of learning a little bit of what they get out of mega camp and what was their biggest bullet point or their biggest aha as well. That way, you learn from them as well and how they perceive what they learn.
That's great. That's awesome. That's one of the ahas that was in El Paso, right? Sending out, preparing for family reunion, creating your schedule, and then sending it out to your referral partners and asking, hey, do you want to meet up for coffee? Do you have a break in between? What part of my schedule works for you so we can meet up and mastermind? Feed into that relationship that way as well, which is kind of what you're doing already. So good job to you. Like, that's really, yeah, no, that's awesome. Cool. I also want to recognize the Cadence team. They're here. They brought us donuts, and they also attended, well, she attended a family reunion. Can you give us a little bit of insight as far as not being KW, but what you learned about KW and how you feel about us?
Yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, it was amazing and a little bit overwhelming. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I do want to say that one of the things that I took away, and as Danny mentioned a lot, was going back to basics. That's something that we've been talking about at Cadence since last year, and about having that personal interaction with our clients. It seems like we're moving more into a hospitality business almost, because we really have to make sure that our customer service is on point. I'm doing a lot of over the phone applications rather than here's my link, apply online. You need to have that interaction with them. So that was great to see that, instead of, a bunch of mortgage lenders are like our technology. It's like, no, we gotta make sure that we're connecting with our clients. So I think that was our biggest takeaway, was reassuring that we're also on the right path and we've been moving in the right direction.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so two of you guys, how many of you guys?
Two, yeah.
Yeah, went with us to family reunion, and they took it as an opportunity to, they work with Allison a lot, right?
Yes.
They took it as an opportunity to network with our agents as well and get to know the KW culture. They are looking to partner with you guys as well, so if you guys want to pick their brains, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, thank you so much for coming, guys. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to shoot them at our panelists. If not, we're pretty much done.
Hell yeah. Also, Peter Luger Steakhouse. That's
Oh, I know, dude. Oh, come on.
Did you guys try Excellent?
Excellent. No.